What's going on, everybody? Tobin here with you. Got a new Porpoise pod out now. Go check out WQAM's YouTube page. By the way, we're now streaming live on YouTube every single day for the Tobin and Leroy show. Every single weekday, I should say. So you guys, if you guys are YouTube viewers and you guys like watching the show, it is now on live on YouTube on the WQAM YouTube page. I will put a link here in the description so you guys can check that on out. But I know a lot of people have been asking about that, because we have been streaming live on Twitch now for the last 2.5 years. But now, finally, we're streaming live on YouTube. Why it took so long, I don't know. I don't make those decisions, but they are up there, and you guys could check that on out. But, you know, it's funny. As we were doing our show, I bleep you not, I kid you not, this carnival barker, Colin Cowherd, was doing a segment. Now, I didn't hear the segment. I watched the segment because I have screens in front of me in the studio. And he's talking about Tua. I'm like, here he goes. And he was talking about the fact that Tua was the leading fan vote getter for the Pro Bowl for all players. Not just quarterbacks. He was that too, but the leading vote getter for players. He was one. Tyreek Hill was two. And I don't find this... I find this awesome, first of all. I don't necessarily find it surprising. I feel like the Dolphin fan has come out when it's been votes, recognition. If there's a social media campaign, the Dolphin has been like a buzzsaw chewing through anything else. Doesn't matter whether it be like FedEx Player of the Week, MVP polls, whatever. Maybe Elon Musk is going to make us pay for all these soon. Who knows? But for these fan votes, these campaigns, the Dolphin has been coming through like crazy. And also, I think the Dolphins have been a very, popular fantasy team this year. They're obviously getting big numbers. You have two receivers over 1,100 yards now. Tyreek Hill over 1,500 yards, highest of his career. And Tua and his popularity have shown through this year. And so they're going to announce the Pro Bowl rosters, I think, on Wednesday. But, some people had some sass about this. The fact that Tua was the leading vote getter amongst all NFL players. And the Dolphin, this is, Javon Holland was like second amongst safeties. So the Dolphin fan was coming out strong. But I saw Ben Volen from the Boston Globe, NFL reporter. And he's he gets all sassy on Twitter where he goes, what was his tweet? Ben Volen's tweet about the Dolphins was, "Congrats to Dolphins fans for sitting at their computer more than other fan bases." Which is I know that Volen likes to troll the Dolphins. He used to report down here, and then all of a sudden, went to go cover Bill Belichick, and it's now it's all Dolphins is Snarkville. But when all of a sudden that becomes something to scoff at, that the fan support is too strong from a fan base, that all of a sudden you're trying to claim that Miami fans, they have more. All of a sudden, the fan base that's the most fickle, that doesn't show up, that doesn't give you the ratings, that isn't hardcore. This is supposed to be a fair weather town. Dolphins less so than the other sports in this town, granted, but still. So the Dolphins are hardcore and outperform Minnesota or Kansas City. But now it's just the fact that, oh no, the Dolphin fan is rigging the system, is what you're basically trying to insist there, or that this is stupid because the Dolphin fan is just stuffing the ballot box. Oh, it's never been done in the history of sports. It hasn't been done. Kyle Lowry one time didn't take Justin Bieber to go get himself in the All-Star game starting above Dwayne Wade. It's never, ever happened. I just think it's funny. It's with Ben Volen, it's what is this snark, dude? A little more time vetting sources on Mac Jones, a little less jokey jokes about how much the fans are voting for Dolphins players. That's all I would say. And then this Cowherd gets onto his television show today, and he's putting a list together of quarterbacks he would take above Tua Tagovailoa. And he gets to and you're looking at the list, you're all right, who's on this list? He's and so you get to 11, he's Dak Prescott. He's got Dak Prescott just, yacked a game against the Jaguars. He's got Kyler Murray, who, would rather be playing video games apparently and than playing football, and not getting along with his head coach, and needs study clauses and all these types of things. Jared Goff, he would take above Tua Tagovailoa, which is just look, Jared Goff's balling out this year. Good for him. And the Lions are an exciting offense. But be honest. If you had to go and take any quarterback, if you went to all other franchises, would you rather have Tua or Jared Goff? You think a lot of people are taking Jared Goff over Tua? And I know like this is like his bag. He's trying to make it for effect. But my point of it is like we're sitting here still after all these weeks and we're like still trying to make like a national debate about something that's not really debatable. The guy is way better this year. Whether you want to say I don't think anybody's here sitting and saying, oh, is he top 3? Is he top 4? No, like, but is he a top 10 quarterback? Has he been this season? Yeah, I would say so pretty clearly. He was an MVP candidate 3 weeks ago before they went on this losing streak. He showed himself to be able to go blow for blow with Josh Allen this past week. And I would say for me, when it comes to franchise quarterbacks, it's like, can you compete on the road? Can you make up for early mistakes of your team? Can you dig your team out of holes? And can you go those blow for blows with these big time matchups? And I mean, like, I think the guy has really, really proven himself. They got to close this thing out for sure. And, I have some concerns going into this week, but they're not offensive concerns. Like, I'm more concerned about, wow, they have Aaron Rodgers coming in here. Maybe he's kind of hitting his stride, and this defense has given up a ton of yards. But it's not the quarterback that I'm concerned about. Like, I was concerned with the last 2 weeks. I thought that his game against San Francisco was poop. I thought that the game against the Chargers, he got outclassed by Justin Herbert. This past game against Josh Allen, he was not outclassed by Josh Allen. Josh Allen made a couple more plays. He was better than Tua in some key spots. But that was a very, very good back and forth between the both of them. It really, really was. And I just think that it's funny we're doing this thing. And like we forget like just a year ago how much everybody was smooching Mac Jones's ass and was like, this guy is the perfect Patriots way quarterback. And now it's like, oh, but his coach doesn't trust him to even throw a Hail Mary. Oh, but he is kind of a prick to his offensive coordinator. That's another thing too. Tua and Mike McDaniel still in lockstep, even through adversity. They're both sending out the same message. They're both just seemingly really on the same page. Listening to a couple of things this week with Javon Holland. Like Javon Holland came out and he was asked to explain like why he went at Dolphins a little bit for being rats off a ship on Tua. And this is what the Snowman had to say about that.
It's not so much for me personally, because people are going to waver regardless. I was on Instagram Live on Quick Draw Jet. It was like just on my other account. But I was mainly talking about people on Tua. Like, Tua's been balling all year, you know what I'm saying? And we're in the NFL, which is where everybody's getting paid for a reason because everybody's an elite competitor. And so there are going to be games where sometimes the other guy getting paid on the other side of the ball is going to have an advantage and, gets the best of an individual. And so when Tua is out there balling and doing his thing, he's getting all the love. He has one game, and now he's the worst quarterback in the league. That's just kind of something that irritated me. Like, you got to have faith in somebody. You got to believe in somebody. Because like we have throughout his whole time here, we believed in him, and we know that what he can do, and you guys see that what he can do because he's a hell of a player, and he leads us on the field and off the field. So that was basically that. It wasn't anything for myself personally or nothing like that. Somebody asked me like if I was finna cry or nothing. Like, was not finna cry. I was just laying down because I was laying down. Laying on the floor. You come inside, chilling, whatever. But nah, man, yeah, I was just y'all just ride to it. Like, that's our guy. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
And those guys like really a close relationship. They did a lot of these talks at training camp where like they'd meet up. It was like the two captains of the team. On basically one's the quarterback of the defense, one's the literal quarterback of the team, and to talk over like what they're seeing, how they can make each other better. Javon Holland, like, what is he, 23, is like mature as they come. Everybody says, old soul. 22, excuse me. Jesus, so young. And is like, you're looking at this and you're just like, man, this kid just seems wise beyond the years. And I appreciate it. I think that's cool that he's out there supporting his guy on social media publicly and all that stuff. And you hope that one day it gets to a point where like the guy will just get the benefit of the doubt and that support won't have to be so furious. But until like just leading Pro Bowl voting is looked upon as like such a crime or a shock value, or it gets snark or stupid lists, then I guess they're gonna have to do it. And then two is also, like, look, they got this in hand right now. They got this playoff scenario coming up. They gotta, get right, certainly against the Packers. I mean, it's not like a must win because if they win their last two games they're in, but you got to be sick of losing. You got to be sick of losing at this point, and you got to be at a certain spot where it's like you got to get things right, got to get things fixed. and certainly get things to a point where, like, get them in the right direction, get momentum going for what this this postseason run could possibly be. Get back to the spot where everybody really does feel like, hey, maybe, you know what? Maybe they are a sneaky contender. They had a very tough road trip. They took on two really good teams. One team that, I think shocked everybody with beating them in Los Angeles. But that's all, behind them now. They got to go out there and take care of business in these 3 games. And yeah, look, the narrative of Tua's season can still swing if they don't get in the playoffs, if there is some epic collapse and this December winter swoon continues. But I think also he showed you in this last game, like, that greatness that everybody believes in is still in there. These explosive plays in the offense is still in there, and they're still capable of doing some pretty impressive stuff on the field. So, I think it's cool. Number 1 Pro Bowl vote getter for Tua. Number 2 Pro Bowl vote getter for Tyreek Hill. And, hopefully that performance and the chemistry that these guys have put forth will be there big time coming up on Sunday on Christmas against the Pack.